Good morning, Raptor Freak. Alexiot's here. Thursday morning, the Raptors beat the San Antonio Spurs last night to stop Coach Popovich from getting his record win, career win, all-time winningest NBA head coach in regular season. We did not allow him to get that against us, and I love it. I love it. One of the things I really loved about the game last night was at the end of the game, Nick Nurse had an embrace with Coach Popovich. Too often we see Nick leave the court and just kind of wave and leave and run away. And I know part of it was the COVID protocols and the pandemic, but it's really cool to see two great coaches have a nice little exchange at the end of the game. Two warrior coaches who really respect each other. Nick was talking about before the game how much Greg Popovich has influenced his coaching career because, he was watching all those Spurs games back in the 90s. He watched a lot of that tape, studied Coach Pop and what he does. And looks like he's a hero to him. He's a mentor to him. And just really awesome. Just really cool to see that at the end of the game, that mutual respect, because Popovich is really impressed with Nick Nurse also. And what a great game. Really one that we needed. Obviously, the thing when we're going to say it right now is we are a winning team with Fred VanVleet in the lineup. And when he is not in the lineup, we have trouble. We struggle. We really need his leadership. We really need his steadiness. Steady Freddy is not just a nickname. It is something that is for real. And as soon as he came out last night and he started doing what he was doing, I felt better right away. I'm sure a lot of Raptor fans breathed a sigh of relief and said, oh my gosh, Fred's back. And look at what he's doing. It was so joyous to see him get right back into it and not have to struggle or anything right away. He was really good. And one of the things I want to talk about Fred today is his shoes. Yeah, listen, y'all. Those shoes he was wearing last night were very special, and I hope he wears them more often. Do you guys know about what happened with these shoes? They're Winnie the Pooh shoes. He showed them off on Instagram yesterday afternoon before the game, and they're badass. They're Fred VanVleet brand yellow shoes with on the back of them, they say honey. And then there's Winnie the Pooh is actually on the shoe, on the side of it, and on the tongue of the shoe, it's FVV, his symbol on there. Those shoes were fire. Fred, wear those Pooh shoes whenever you want because you are a badass in those Pooh shoes, and they look so nice. Such a good accent color, that yellow. I'm telling you, if we're doing Mars Blackman today, it's the shoes, money, it's the shoes, and that's what Spike Lee used to yell at Michael Jordan in those old Air Jordan commercials. Because man, Fred, those shoes were badass. Wear them. I know he keeps track of which shoes he does well in, and I think that he's gonna. To me, those Winnie the Pooh shoes were badass. I mean, seriously, go look at his Instagram after we're done, and you will see a picture of them on there. He got two pairs of shoes yesterday, the Winnie the Pooh shoes, and then he also got some white and purple and red Raptor Fred VanVleet shoes also. And those were probably his backups just in case the Pooh shoes didn't work out, because he's done this year where he wears one pair of shoes for a while, and if he's not playing well, he'll switch them in the middle of the game. And I think there's actually been a game where he's worn like 3 or 4 pairs of shoes this year. But those Pooh shoes were bad. I kept saying it last night. My lady's like, you keep saying Pooh shoes. Pooh shoes. That sounds bad. Well, I'm like, these Pooh shoes are bad. So wear the Pooh shoes, Fred VanVleet. That's what I'm saying this morning. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Glad to see everybody's here. Click to him saying, finally got one. I really want to beat both the Suns and the Nuggets. Yeah, wow, what a gauntlet we have to face. It's really weird because this part of the trip that we're about to do may be the super toughest part of our whole entire season. This is insane. We've got to go and play Phoenix tomorrow night. In Phoenix, they just clinched. They're the first team to clinch their playoff spot. They're in the playoffs as of last night, and we got to play them tomorrow night. And then we got to travel to Denver and go mile high on a back-to-back against the Denver Nuggets. That is just a suicide schedule. That is just a tough-ass schedule. And you know what? If we get one of the 2 games, I'm going to be so happy because that means we really overachieved. And one of the things I really love about last night's win is we have momentum now. We have some good vibes. We have some good feelings. And that means if we come out there and we feel good against Phoenix, we may have a shot. We really may have a shot because Chris Paul isn't back yet, and Devin Booker just showed back up last night after being out for COVID protocols. So let's see what we can do. Who knows? But Phoenix is playing at a super high level. We'll do a proper preview tomorrow with the real mascot matchup. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. All right, let's see. Raymond Jacobs saying, got love for Pop. He loves trading with the Raptors. I do love Pop. In some ways, the Raptors and the Spurs franchises are kind of like brothers that have a lot of respect for each other. Like they see how we're doing things. And of course, we've copycatted them. The Toronto Raptors have really copycatted the Spurs the most out of any NBA team. That is a team we've taken the blueprint from and copied for many years now. And I love it. And there's a mutual respect between these two teams. And there's a lot of shared family, Jakob, different people. It was really cool to see CJ Miles at courtside last night. And he was sitting on the Raptors side of the court, which was cool. And, he played with a lot of the current Raptors. He played with Fred. He played with Pascal. He played with Chris. So, he knows a lot of these guys that are on the Raptor team. So it was just really cool to see CJ, especially after we just talked about him on the Raptor Freak Trivia on Tuesday, about him being one of the 20 Raptors that scored double digits off the bench for the Raptors in the history of the franchise. CJ Miles is one of those guys. And they were talking about whether CJ Miles could play in the NBA at this point or something. Maybe he could be like Jody Meeks and play on the 905 and be somebody that could do stuff, because he's not that far out from playing in the league. And it could be that he's still got some quality in him. So who knows? All right, let's see. Kyrie, good morning. Good to see you, Kyrie. Suns game tomorrow will be interesting. Hoping a win since Chris is not playing. Yeah, they keep rolling without their guys. Everybody was speculating with Devin Booker and Chris Paul out that the Suns would start losing. Well, they didn't. They kept rolling. They didn't really have much of a losing streak with these guys out, which is a real testament to what Monty Williams is doing. He is a fantastic coach, y'all. This year, if anything, I think Monty Williams should be the coach of the year for the NBA this year. And it's not just because his Suns team's good. He's just a really good coach. I'm really realizing this at this point. He's been with other teams at different times, but this stint with Phoenix right now is really proving the mettle and the power of the coaching of Monty Williams. And I have a lot of respect for him. It's a weird assortment of guys. They have good role players. Like Ayton is a monster. And then you've got these guys like Crowder and different people that come in and do different things for them, that they just have a lot of different weapons and stuff. And I love that Bismack's on this team and that he's doing a lot of quality things for the Suns right now too. It's going to be real fun, Kyrie. I'm looking forward to the Suns game myself, and it's a lot easier going into this game after a win last night. 15-point win over the Spurs. We needed it. It was the kind of game where we cruised. We had a lot of good feeling, good kind of things happening. We're going to get to them. Trust me. We're going to keep going. Let's see what else is saying. All right, Tom Duke saying, glad Fred VanVleet got out of the ditch and played last night. Let's go. Yes, Fred. Oh, my gosh. It was so good to see Fred. And he said it, just like I said. He said it was so hard for him to sit on the bench and just watch and coach and not be able to do anything to help the team. He hated it. And he felt pretty good. You know what? Honestly, I think we did a good job holding him out long enough. Like G was saying 10 days ago, hold him out. Don't play him while he's still hurt. Let him give him some time to rest. And you know what? He looked really fresh. He looked really good with his legs. He looked quicker. One of the things to look for with Fred when you know he's feeling good is that he's going to the basket more. And he was doing that last night. Nick noted that after the game. He said, Fred must be feeling much better because he's venturing near the basket and doing more near there. And that's usually a sign that he's feeling pretty good. He was moving way better than before when he was trying to play hurt. So this was a really good break that he got off. It's too bad we lost so many games, but it really does look like he's healed up a bit better and he can play better. And it was so nice to see his shot fall. It was so nice to see our offense look competent and have some organization to it. And just better things happening in general on the team. And, he did a great job. Also, he had to chase Murray around a bit last night, and he didn't look bad chasing him around defensively, because I was really worried Murray could mess up Fred with his kind of hurt knee. But there was a lot of people helping, and Murray was a good player for them last night. Don't get me wrong. He almost got a triple-double, but he was neutralized to a degree overall. And it's just we had more in the tank, better players overall, and we did it. We did it. Lumpy Rex saying, what's up, freaks? Lumpy, Winnipeg, what's up in the house? Yes, I hope you're going to a game again soon, Lumpy. Let me know. Sue saying, good morning, everyone. Nice win. I love the pace. Yes, the pace. they were keeping it lively. Yeah, they were keeping it up and down. They were moving the ball around. Gary Trent was finding easier shots and he was hitting them at a better percentage, different stuff like that. We're going to talk about Scotty. Don't worry. We're going to talk about Scotty, but I want to hold off on that real quick. Jacob McLean. Yeah, was on the trivia the other day. Jacob, let's go Raptors. Yeah, baby. We won one again. We're on the right side of the win column again, and we got some momentum coming in to play the Phoenix Suns, the number one team in the NBA tomorrow. The only team that's in the playoffs already. We get to play a playoff team right away tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Sue's saying free throws were on point last night. We need to do that every night. Yes, Sue. It was so nice to see us 11 for 11 from the line. And then Fred missed the first one, and we were like 12 for 13 or something like that. But overall, we only missed 2 free throws last night, which is fantastic because Ed Malloy and the crew were actually giving us free throws last night. It's absolutely insane. We shot 28 free throws last night and made 26. That's 26 of our points. That's almost a quarter of our points at the free throw line last night. And that is fantastic. That's a great development. And it may just be the matchup with the Spurs is conducive to us getting to the line more, but I'm so glad the whistle was called and our guys got those opportunities because too often I'm like, you know what? How can we be 11 for 11 in the first half? We got that many free throws is what I was telling myself. We never get that many free throws that early in the game. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Callie. Good morning, Callie. Fred was awesome. Scotty was amazing. And Precious was energized. Great to see them back to form. Those are all great descriptors for those 3 guys last night. I really do think that Precious did some amazing things last night. If you're really watching and you see what he's doing out there, there were a couple of hustle energy plays that he did where he didn't give up on the play, and he ended up getting the ball back for us in the middle of a bunch of Spurs, where he had like 2 or 3 guys hanging around him, trying to get the ball from him, stuff like that. There was so many good 50-50 plays where our guys initiated and got back in there and made an initiative to get aggressive to get the ball. And one of them was that jump ball that Fred made happen, where they had the ball, they could have passed it out, but Fred put his hands on the ball with the ball there, and they had to jump the ball. And that was a couple of times where we did a really good job of tying things up and getting a jump ball, which was really, really good. Really good. Also, Scotty. All right, we'll talk about Scotty right now. Listen, it was so fitting that they were in San Antonio last night, a place where Tim Duncan played, the place where Kawhi Leonard was a rookie. Because what happened last night is, once again, what I've seen in little bits so far this season, all throughout the year at different times, is this low post dominance that Scotty Barnes can do. And last night, he took more initiative and was more aggressive in the second half. And we saw him on multiple plays a couple times down the court do some amazing stuff around the basket with these little turnaround hooks, these bank shots. The way he was going up over Jakob Poeltl is not easy. And this is the thing. He's got a really quick move. So it catches the defender off guard. It's the timing thing. He has a weird rhythm that isn't exactly how they think he's going to go. So he catches them by surprise. And the thing that's happening with this is very Kawhi Leonard. This shit that he's doing because of his size and his speed combination is Kawhi Leonard-like scoring. And this is why I think he's going to be a dominant scorer in the league in the years to come, because he can get his shot down there. And we saw he dribbled the ball up in transition in himself. He didn't even need somebody to feed the ball to him from the outside like Fred did a couple of times. He did do that a few times last night, but he could also bring the ball up himself and initiate himself into the lane with contact and make the shot that way also. This is so good for the future. In fact, the things that we saw from Scotty Barnes last night could be our bread and butter down the road. And this guy is going to be a badass in this league. Because listen, I love what I saw last night, because if he continues to do this night in, night out, and he gets some big games, he can win Rookie of the Year still. It's not that clear cut who it is still, because Cade Cunningham's getting a lot of talk about what he's doing, because he's beaten most of the rookies in games head to head. And then, Evan Mobley is getting a lot of discussion. So in a lot of ways, it's a 3-man race at this point. And they're all kind of equal in some ways. So Scotty can really differentiate him from the pack. by being badass and doing some really dominant stuff. Like he really, if he had done this in a couple games earlier, in these games where we were struggling, and he actually won the game for us by taking it over, then he would be getting more and more steam in the rookie of the year conversation. So that's what I'm saying, Scotty. Keep going in this direction. This new aggression that you're showing. In fact, Nick's saying that he didn't even really call his number on these, that he was being aggressive and he was taking it himself. It wasn't like Nick Nurse was calling the play. Hey, go down low, Scotty. It's basically when he wants to do it, he's allowed to go do it. And we see great things when this happens. The way he banks the shot is awesome. It really looks like Tim Duncan kind of shit also. I say Kawhi Leonard just because it's really his size and his hands and the way he does it is very Kawhi-like, but some of that stuff is also very Tim Duncan-ish. And that's why it's so apropos that they were in San Antonio last night. So yeah, oh my gosh, fantastic developments with Scotty's game and just the dominance that he's flashing right now could really bode for something amazing in the future. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And we talked about Fred a bit already. Obviously, he's essential and so important to us winning. Jacob McClain saying it's 10:38 p.m. That's when the game starts tomorrow night. That's the thing. So much is shifted when you go out west. And this is the dirty shit. We're going to talk about it more this weekend because it's coming, is that DST. You know what I'm talking about, that spring forward. It's like we go and play Phoenix tomorrow night. We go and play Denver in a mile-high city where the oxygen's fucked up on a back-to-back. And then that night after the Denver game, the time changes. It springs forward, daylight savings time. And that's a really weird thing to do to a team that's on a West Coast road trip. We always get sent on the West Coast road trip around the time change. That's fishy as fuck to me because what happens is it messes with your biological clock. Jacob's saying we're playing at 10:38 tomorrow night. Well, it's all up and down. You don't know when you're playing. And by the time we get to LA on Monday, we're going to be playing a game that's going to be at like 10:30, but it's a spring forward, so it'll be like 11:30 our time here in Toronto Eastern time. And that's the crazy shit, is that we got to deal with not only altitude and two of the best teams in the Western Conference first in a back-to-back in the next 2 days, but then we got to deal with the time change and going to play LeBron in LA on Monday. And it's fishy as fuck. I hate it. They give a little bit of an advantage to LeBron by doing that, but they're still losing left and right. It doesn't matter. I love this. The Lakers are a fucking mess. And when we get to LA on Monday, we're going to fuck them up. I really, truly believe that. And then hopefully we'll beat the Clippers also because they're gettable. They're good in some ways, but they're gettable. We beat them already this year. And then we come back, and on Friday, we play the Lakers here in Toronto. And the thing that's fishy about that is the Lakers get to travel back and have the jet lag along with us. Whereas we could have been back here waiting for them and they come see us. They just have the jet lag. That's how they even the playing field and try and help LeBron beat the Raptors. That's what I'm saying right there. Click to I'm saying the Suns destroyed the Heat. Yeah, the Heat had everybody too. They're always missing at least one of their main guys like Lowry or Bam or something. They even had fucking Oladipo in that game last night and they lost. Yeah, and the Suns didn't even have Chris Paul. That's an interesting thing because that's number one in the East versus number one in the West, and the West won in that one. And like I said, that's why part of the reason why I'm so impressed with Monty Williams is that he's kept this team winning through thick and thin, through adversity with injuries and COVID and different things, like everything that's happened this season. The fact that they only have 13 losses this season is fucking impressive. Yeah. And that's why I think, when people start talking about Coach of the Year, very strongly consider this guy who's at the top because he held the ship together, and did a good job. Sue's saying we had a great second half. They had 6 threes in the first half and good efficiency. In second half, we kept them to 2 or 3 and their efficiency was way down. Nice to see them clamp that. Yeah, Sue, you're right. It was 2 halves in different ways. At the halftime, I look at the halftime stats, and the Spurs were shooting 56% from the field, and we were shooting somewhere in the 40s, and it got evened out. And we ended up shooting better than them by the end of the game. I think it was like we shot 48% by the end of the game, and they shot 46 by the end of the game. So they went from 56% shooting at halftime down to 46% by the end of the game. And to me, that is a sign of really good clamping down defense for sure. And that was important because they were beating us in the 3-point shooting in the first half. And that was part of the reason why they had the edge at that time. But we really came on strong with our threes, and we ended up out shooting them in 3-point shooting by the end of the game. And there was a lot of stats we won last night. We won points in the paint. We won the rebounding battle. We won more free throw attempts than them. We won more field goal attempts than them. All this stuff we beat. We beat them in 3-point shooting is really good. And it was a 15-point win and just good stuff. And like, we'll go through each of the players. I got to talk about what happened with Chris last night, Chris Boucher and stuff like that. Let's see. Click saying Lonnie should have won Coach of the Year last season. Yeah, maybe. Well, hopefully he'll get it this year because honestly, he's the guy I think deserves it. He's shown such excellence with this Phoenix team, and this franchise has had real functional problems with different people involved. Like the president is an asshole, and there's different problems with their foundation. And the fact that Monty Williams is doing all this, even amidst some of the controversy this year with Sarver and different people, that's really good. So let's see. Callie saying, yes, Sue, defense really picked up after Nurse called the timeout. Yeah, there was some really smart timeouts and stuff like that they did and good stuff. Really, really good coaching just in general by Nick last night. I was really impressed with what he did. And, we'll talk about Chris. Let me talk about Chris right now. Now, Raymond posted a comment on there about Chris getting benched in the game last night. I'm going to tell you why he got benched, and he did not play in the second half. And he only got 12 minutes in the game, and that was in the first half. It's because he did that transition three. You remember that, Raymond. You saw him. He brought the ball up the court himself, and he shot a three off balance that looked awful. And that's a big no-no for Chris, I believe. That like Nick has already been trying to stop him from doing that kind of stuff, and he's been told not to do that. And I think that's why he got benched last night, is he took that crazy three in transition. That's not a part of what he's supposed to be doing. That's not a good shot for what we're doing. And that's basically the message that he's sending there. Is that Chris, and part of his struggle this season is knowing his role and understanding and playing within that role. And what he does when he does something like that, where he goes and he like takes a shot like that in transition that they don't want, then they say, you can't do that. You're benched for the rest of the game. And that's just the way Nick deals with Chris. And maybe, he has a few years of dealing with him, that he knows that this is how he'll get the results from him that he wants. And at least he's molded and shaped them and formed them to this point where he's accepting his role more, and he's not trying to do this stuff. Because Chris has admitted this year that he wanted to be Kevin Durant, that he wanted to be an offensive scorer and just be the next Kevin Durant. So him coming down the court, dribbling the ball up and jacking a three without passing it anybody, that's not what Nick wants. And that's the message he wanted to send by benching him for the rest of the game. And that I saw it and I was like, whoa, what are you doing, Chris? And then I noticed that I didn't see Chris for the rest of the game. I was like, oh, he must have gotten in trouble for taking that three. And that's really what it is. And I wouldn't read too much into it. You're also saying, well, if Chris leaves as a free agent this summer because of that, no, he's not going to do that. Because you know what Chris said in the last hustle play is he likes people that challenge him. He likes people that tell him what he's doing is wrong so he gets better. And this is all his coach is doing. He's telling him, you can't do that. And he's going to take it to heart and he'll listen to him. And he probably won't do it again. It may be that it was a lapse of judgment in that moment where he wasn't concentrating and thinking in the moment in the game. And he's just like, oh, I'll dribble up and just launch this three. Well, that's not actually allowed by Nick in this kind of setup for his offense because they didn't even get anything going. He just ran up, threw the ball up, and it's a bad shot. And the other team has the ball. And that's why he punished them. That's really what it was. Let's see. All right, let's keep going. G saying bully ball Barnes. Yeah, he's a bully. He's a bully. He can push them around. He can do whatever he wants. That's what I'm saying. Kawhi is a bully himself, and that's Scotty's the same thing. He's a bully also. And in a way that like OG plays bully ball also, but Scotty's a different kind of bully ball. OG's more down low and bring it up kind of bully ball, where Scotty can be up already and just turn and do shots like this. And that's the difference. OG has to bring the ball up, and he gets fouled a lot on the motion coming up. If OG could play with the ball up and play in the post that way, then he may not get stripped and fouled so much like Scotty does. So Scotty gets a lot of easy shots because he keeps the ball high. and then he turns with it and he keeps it away from people with his shoulders and stuff like that. So really, really interesting development. I want to see more and more of this. We keep saying we're scratching the surface, but the surface is continuing to get scratched and more is being exposed. I love it. Sue saying Precious looking good last night too. Bad he got into early foul trouble because he was doing well with threes again. I hope he continues development. Yeah, Precious came out. He had 4 minutes. He got 3 fouls in 4 minutes like that. And then he didn't play again until the second half. And that's really just to keep him available for in the second half. And that was actually really smart because what happened was Birch had to leave the game. That was really bad luck for Birch. Once again, he has some, I really like held my breath when I saw Murray headbutt him into the mouth. It was like this dude just had his nose busted in, and now he's like he may have more face problems. I was really holding my breath. But thank goodness. I mean, they both got messed up. His tooth came out. You saw it in the replay. I was saying his tooth just came out. I saw a chiclet flying. And yeah, it did come out. He lost his left front tooth. And his mother said on Twitter after the game, Kem's fine. Everything's okay. His tooth's going to be fixed. And that's really reassuring that we get the news update from his mom on Twitter telling us that he's going to be okay. But yeah, he's had such a bad luck this year with injuries and different things like that. You saw the little cut on Murray's head. It was bleeding pretty good. That's a really bad kind of collision. Head to head, headbutt kind of stuff can be really scary for all kinds of different reasons and injuries and stuff. But it looked like Kim's not going to miss any time. It's just that he'll have to fix his tooth, and then hopefully he'll be able to be available to play against Phoenix tomorrow night. But yeah, he's had so much bad luck this year. It's crazy. And all right, getting back to the Precious thing, because we held Precious out after the free fouls, he had to play heavy in the second half because Kem couldn't come back and they were benching Boucher. So Precious was heavily relied on in the second half. And like I said, he was great with the hustle stuff, the energy stuff, sometimes getting balls away from like 2 or 3 Spurs at once. And then the threes, as you mentioned, Sue, absolutely fantastic. And there was at one point in the game where Precious made his third three and Gary came over to him and he said, "You're shooting better than me," is basically what he said to him. He's like, "Precious, you're better 3-point shooter than me." I'm pretty sure that's what Gary said to him. It looked like on the camera because it was hilarious. But yeah, that's true because Precious shot 3 for what did he shoot? He shot 3 for 5 from the 3-point line, and Gary was 2 for 8. So it is true. It's like Precious is a better 3-point shooter than him right now. Yeah, we said something about Birch getting his teeth knocked out. Sue's saying, I feel so bad for Birch. He just can't get a break. Yeah, he can't. And he had COVID earlier too, and his knee. Think about his knee and how long he was out with that knee soreness. And yeah, it's stuff like that. But this is just the NBA season. Is that this is grueling, this is tough, and he's our biggest guy. He's taking a brunt of a lot of stuff, and I think he's fine. He's going to be fine tomorrow, and he'll be back playing. And he's just a warrior. And I'm just glad that he's a big, tough dude, and that we have him on our team. Because honestly, there's a lot of things that Kem does that is really good for us, especially the tipping the balls out and keeping the ball alive on the offense with the rebounds. It's been so good, so good. I love what Raymond said here too. Birch is an OG. A real trooper. Yeah, I agree with that also. Sue saying, yeah, it's a real shame. He just can't get back to form either. He just starts getting going again and then something else happens. I'm going to guess that he's going to be fine. But yeah, he did show more that he's going to be able to make his close baskets. And I really like that he's aggressive. There was one point at the beginning of the game again where he tried to make a second pass where he should have shot it once again. It's like, come on, Kem, be aggressive. Take your shots. Eat too. You need to eat too. Everybody's got to eat, and you got to eat too. And that's why when you get an open shot near there, don't dump it off to somebody who may have somebody closer to them. Go ahead and take that shot and put it in the basket. That's what we want to see. Jacob McLean saying he's from Australia. Cool. I love this. We have so many. Okay, so you're saying it's 10:30 in where you are in the world right now, not what time the Phoenix game is. Okay, I get it now. We have viewers that watch all around the world. We have a viewer in Zimbabwe and Jakarta, and now we got our Australian viewer, Jacob McLean. I'm going to remember that, Jacob, that you're our Aussie. All right, Trevor Gleason is a legend in your country, and I want to know if you're anything about Trevor Gleason that you know, or any other Australian Raptors, even Aaron Baines. just give us any kind of Raptor Australian stories. I know Trevor Gleason won a bunch of championships in your home country and stuff like that. And yes, welcome. And thanks again for playing the trivia the other night. And I didn't know you were at a disadvantage of playing from so far away. But Eric Jacob, he's playing from Zimbabwe. So it all evens out. I don't know how the interwebs, how long it takes to go through the tubes and stuff like that. But let's see. Click saying, I'm confident that we can beat the Lakers in both matchups. All we need to do is outwork them. Yes, yes, yes. We've been saying this all year. I've been licking my chops about playing LeBron with this team and the way that LeBron's team plays and the way our team plays. It's just a no-brainer. We're going to kick them ass so bad. It's going to be fun. And it's still set up this way. It's not like the Lakers figured it out and got themselves out of this mess. And we may have been slumping recently, but we're starting to show signs of life. And honestly, if we continue to slump still, and we're going to play the Lakers, that could be a really easy way to get out of your slump. Is playing the Lakers because they'll make you feel good. And yeah, I like the prospect of us winning both games against LA Monday and Friday next week, and the one on Wednesday against the Clippers. Win all three of them. Let's get a triple shot and sweep the city of Los Angeles for the whole entire year. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see what's going on in here. Raymond Jacobs saying, Jacob, are you a big fan of Aaron Baines? Yeah, I was wondering about that. Listen, I am now. You guys know what's happened to him since he was on the Raptors. You guys have to know that he's been fighting a horrible thing that happened to him at the Olympics where he fell in the bathroom, and then he was in the hospital during COVID in a very scary place where he didn't speak the language with the people who were there. It was in Japan, and he was in the hospital and he was scared, and he had a disease that could have killed him. I think it was like a flesh-eating disease or something like that. So listen, he's had a hard thing since he's been with the Raptors and left us. So I have respect for Aaron Baines. I know a lot of people hated him. They were down on him and upset with him for the Tampa year and different things. And I was with them. But since I have to feel for this guy because he's been going through some stuff in the couple of years, like in the year since he played for us. So, I can't diss Aaron Baines or make him a punchline anymore. I got to give him respect and love and hope that he's okay. Because like it or not, he's a former Raptor. He's family. He's family. He's still family. And honestly, he was in good standing. Because it's like, listen, that had to be so hard to take the abuse from Raptor Nation last year and really wanted to help us and do best, but he didn't have it in him. And it's not like he was an asshole about it. He was trying and he was doing his best. I have to give him credit for that. I feel bad for him, honestly. So let's see. Kenrick's saying we moved faster last night. Yeah, we did. We moved a lot faster. The pace was better. Fred was just orchestrating a lot better. We're more organized. Once again, we keep saying the spacing was better. And really it is. It's like it opens things up when you can have Fred and Gary on both sides. And Pascal's going down the middle. Scotty's going down the middle. We got people like Precious in the corner, stuff like that. It really does make things move and flow faster and smoother and better and just in general. Click 2 AM saying Precious Precious's ceiling can be Serge Ibaka with athleticism and handles. I think he's going to be a different kind of player than even that. Like, honestly, I think that Precious isn't as far away from like a Pascal or a Scotty at his ceiling, that he could be like a 20 plus scorer and still almost like an 8 to 10 rebounder. And that if he was on another team, like if he was on Sacramento, he would be like one of their main scorers and be one of their go-to guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, he has that kind of talent. In a way, we have him buried in the lineup. He's not even starting, and we're developing him at a good pace, not overusing him, not putting too much burden on him, but more and more responsibility and things get put on Precious. He's going to be badass because we're seeing it, the dribbling up the court, the ability to go to the basket and stretch and move around and shoot over guys, or just be aggressive and run up and just dunk it. Like he did that again last night, but he didn't make it. He got kind of messed up in the air, but he was coming strong from the side and he was going to throw it down. And that's the thing. If he's hitting threes also, and, he has a little bit of a mid-range shot, this is the thing. He could be a complete offensive player. It's just, his shot gets better. He's more confident with it, and he starts to understand more footwork. and like the flow of the game and how when to go and do stuff. He has some really good natural instincts already. And he's showing some brilliance and things like as much as I get impressed by Scotty and what he did in the third quarter last night. I see stuff that Precious does that impresses me and makes me think that he's the same kind of level, kind of talent in some ways also. So I would put him way over Serge. I mean, Serge is a great compliment. In some ways, Serge is more oriented with the block shots and different things like that. And then Precious isn't as good with block shots, but maybe he could get better. But yeah, they're not the same kind of player to me in some ways. And that may be because of the handles that you're saying the difference, and also the ability to drive and like do stuff that way. Because Serge really wasn't a driver. His first step isn't that quick, and it was really hard for him to kind of do stuff like that. He's more a set shooter. Pass it to him, he'll shoot it at the top of the free throw line kind of stuff. Than him putting the ball on the floor and trying to dribble around a guy and shoot over him, which is what Precious can do. And I'm telling you, both these guys are blue chippers. And another thing, did you see that pass that Delano had to Precious, that alley-oop pass? That was such an intricate, tough, synergized pass. That's the two guys on the same page, really knowing each other, and that is the future right there. The more the Toronto Raptors get comfortable with each other in the offense and knowing where everybody's spots are and how they like to get the ball and what they can expect from them and get more reps, as they say, the more we're going to see badass, crazy transition dunks and plays and passes and just second nature stuff where guys will be able to know exactly where they're going to be. Because we're playing as strangers to a degree. On the level of the NBA, and this is something Nick Nurse talked about yesterday before the game. He said, it's great having people like Fred in the lineup because I can say something. Remember what we did 4 years ago in this situation? And he's like, yeah, I remember that. And it's like an accrued knowledge, an accrued time of experience together. And that's what I'm saying. The fact that we're winning right now with our guys and how much they've actually played together was really just this year with some of them is going to make it even better with 1 year. After having 1 year together and more familiarity, this team's going to get more and more badass. And that alley-oop from Delano to Precious is symbolic of the stuff that we're going to see more of in the future. The more they're on the same page. Let's see. Raymond Jacobs saying would be nice to have OG back already. Yes. Did you guys see? Did you see the two fans in San Antonio with the signs? One said, "We the North," with Fred's face. And then the other one said, "How do you like Texas, OG?" And it's a reference to when we played the Houston Rockets and Amy Audibert asked OG, what do you like about Texas? And he was blank and he didn't answer at all. Well, this girl, she brought the sign and they went and posed with her, both of them, Amy Audibert and OG, and stood with her in the sign because it's such an iconic story. And the picture was badass. Y'all got to see this picture. OG's face is hilarious on it. You know, he's kind of playing a character, that he knows that he's kind of like this dude that, you know, he's playing something like that's his personality, but also he's tongue in cheek. You can tell. And Amy is cracking up behind the mask. Go check out this picture. I'm talking about the two fans with the signs and OG and Amy Audibert. It is hilarious. You guys will be laughing your ass off when you see it. Oh my God, so good. Kenny saying, how much Tooth Fairy left for Kem under his hotel pillow this morning? I don't know. You know, an NBA player and inflation, we got to factor in everything. Maybe he got $10,000 left under his pillow so that he can help Justin Champagnie pay for his ejection earlier this season. Yeah. And I watched that interview that Justin Champagnie did that Monique recommended yesterday. And it's funny. He said he's paying that fine, that $10,000. It's a tough lesson and it is what it is. So it is what it is. All right, let's see. Raymond Jacobs saying Delano played well too. Yeah, I like what Delano did. He had good pace. You know, once again, he didn't score a whole lot, but he got 6 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He did get to play a good chunk of time, 21 minutes, and he looked good out there. I mean, with Malachi out, he's eating up all the backup point guard minutes and stuff like that. So, and plus, Fred was just coming back, first game back. They weren't going to overdo him, right? So Fred ended up with 34 minutes, and you know he would have been up near 40 if he was like full speed. So Yeah, I think Delano did great. He was great. Seymour Pape saying it felt bad for Birch. Keeps getting hit in the nose there. I feel his pain. Thank God that headbutt wasn't a little higher. Like if he had hit him in the nose with his head, the top of his head like that, that would have been really bad. And it was a little lower. He lost a tooth. You saw that chiclet flying. If you saw the the replay, you saw the chiclet come flying out. It was crazy. So, all right, let me look at the box score real quick a little bit. Really interesting that Pascal and Scotty both got 20 points each and 8 rebounds each. They kind of had similar kind of games in some ways, but really, Scotty didn't do anything in the first half. It was really that late second half dominance and aggression that he was showing. Absolutely fantastic. I cannot understate how much the Scotty Barnes developments last night bode so well for the Toronto Raptors' future. Kem Birch got 4 points in his limited time before he got hurt, and he got 4 rebounds. So he did do some different things out there. I like that he was, like I said, that he took a couple shots. Really, especially at the beginning of the game. I want Kem to like establish our offense in a way like down low with an easy little hook or lane shot, because that's always a great way of opening things up to start the game. That's just classic basketball philosophy. You get an easy shot down low, and then your outside stuff will come easier. Don't just come out there and start launching threes because you may be cold. You get an easy high percentage shot and build from that. And that's Kem Birch. If he can do that every game, come out and hit like something right in the beginning of the game, that's fantastic. Fred VanVleet, absolutely incredible in his first game back. His first half was really tearing it up. Like in the first half, he had most of his points. I think he had 18 points in the first half. So he really helped us right from the start, setting the tone and controlling the game. And then, of course, at the end of the game, really good managing everything. And they did a really good job of overcoming them and then holding a good lead over them for a good part of the fourth quarter. And that was really important. Once again, we haven't had the opportunity to say, pour that syrup on, Raptors. And that's what I want to see. We get a lead above them and we're pouring syrup on top of the pancakes, meaning we're making that lead thicker. And then when we get close to the end of the game, hit some daggers and put that pat of butter on there and then eat them pancakes and they're gone and you won. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. All right, let's see what else on the box score that I like. Gary Trent Jr. still struggling from the field, 5 of 13, but he did make some shots. And there were a couple times when his shots looked really good. And that's the signs of him breaking more and more out of this slump that he's been in lately. Of course, Fred being back helps him so much. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. You know, a decent game by Gary still. Enough to really help us and do enough to be a threat just to shoot. Thad Young was fantastic last night. There's more and more, like I was down on Thad Young a week ago, but I'm really enjoying some of the stuff he's bringing now, the intangibles that he's bringing out there. He's fitting in much better on the defense. He's really good with the rebounding. I'm really liking the things as he more and more fits with the Raptors. He's really looking like he fits well. And I love that he's just kind of filling in stuff that we need, whatever it is. And that's great. And it's cool in a way that he got to play more than Boucher and Birch last night. Some people are like, but Thad needs the time and the reps with the guys too and stuff like that. So we talked about Chris, talked about the reason why he got benched in the second half. It really was that three-pointer that was really ill-advised. And it may be that, like I said, specifically Nick Nurse has told Chris that he's not allowed to do that and that he did it. And that was why he got punished I think that's what it was. Seriously, Raymond. I don't think it's any more or any less than that. And I don't think Chris will be that upset. He knows he fucked up. He probably knows that he shouldn't have done that, and that he's been warned not to do that, and that, that'll happen. But he'll come back and he'll be ready. It could be that Nick knows how to motivate Chris, and that this is part of the way, because we've seen Chris get benched at least 3 or 4 times in his career with the Raptors. I've seen him get benched like this before, and he reacts to it well. He takes it well, and he usually comes back with a better attitude and things like that. Like I said, Chris doesn't like ass kissers. He wants people to critique him and tell him where he's wrong. And that's what Nick Nurse is doing in this situation. So Precious Achua, 13 points off the bench, 5 of 11, 3 for 5 from three-pointer. Didn't get as many rebounds as he normally does, but yeah, 5 fouls. He got those 3 fouls early and stuff like that. But Precious just active, just out there being a part of the game. And just, man, I honestly, I'm really impressed with Precious and Scotty. These guys are going to be so good for us. I hope we can keep him around. Yuta came in for 2 minutes, hit his only shot. Really good job by him, too. It was just cool to see Yuta make a shot. Delano, we just talked about, doing all right. Svi didn't make anything, came in at the end. And Brooks, once again, came out, didn't do anything except forget. He had one pass, a dump off to Kem that he didn't make, which was too bad. And then Bonga. Bonga came in and he hit one free throw. Bonga is another guy that really impresses me. There was that one play where they tried to pass it across court and he jumped up and got his hand on it and got a steal, and then we got in transition. This is another guy that's kind of unsung in our franchise that we really, really need to take a good hard look at on the main roster. He's been getting a lot of work on the 905 and dominating in different ways down there. I think that Bonga is a future rotation player for the Raptors, and that he's showing it more and more. And it's weird because we talk more about people like Champagny and Delano and Reggie Perry, but Isaac Bonga has been one of the most important players on the 905 this season. And he is somebody that we need to continue to develop because I think he's going to make it and he's going to be an important Raptor someday. So very interesting, cool stuff with that, seeing Bonga. And now he's been sent, I read this morning, back to the 905 team. He's not going to go all the way out west with them to Phoenix. He's actually going to meet the 905 today. And I believe they're playing the Atlanta Hawks G League team, the Skyhawks, again today. I'm not sure if the game is in Atlanta or it's here in Toronto. I'm not sure. But there is a G League game today, 905 today. Watch the game tonight around 7 or so. Raptors basketball every day, baby. Woo! All right, and now let me just look at the Spurs box score real quick. McDermott did not kill us in any kind of way last night. He was cold, thank God, because he was getting open threes. He could have easily hit them. And it was really a double-pronged attack that we were getting last night. It was Murray and Johnson. That Keldon Johnson guy came in and just did whatever he wanted to out there. He was 10 for 19 for the shooting in the game. That's really too much easy shooting, in my opinion. And Murray, a fantastic all-star. I just see how good he is. To me, he really looks like a younger Russell Westbrook. Like there's some things that Murray does that are really Russell Westbrook oriented, but I think he's less than a knucklehead than Russell Westbrook. In fact, that's the crazy thing. You got this guy, DeJounte Murray. He's such a young player. He may be more mature and have his act together better than somebody like Russell Westbrook at this point in his career. And that's crazy. That shouldn't be like that. That Murray has more poise and maturity than Russell Westbrook does. It shouldn't be that way. That's Russell Westbrook's problem. I know I've been dogging him a couple times. Pirtle with a double-double, 11 and 12. There was a one little part with Pirtle and Pascal. They were playing really physical with each other. For being best friends and stuff like that, they were hitting each other. And there was that one play underneath the basket where Pascal hit the post for the backboard, and Pirtle was right there with him, and it looked like Pascal got really hurt. And that was scary to me. And I'm like, dude, y'all are friends. Don't hurt each other while you're out there, because they were really going at each other. I mean, you know, they're friends. They're probably talking shit during the game. And then like they'll joke about it and laugh about it later. But when they were on the court last night, the way they were looking at each other, there were no friendship there. That was just two guys battling and very serious about it. Like Pirtle was not smiling last night. He was getting red in the face. He was agitated with the Raptors. And we did a lot of things to him this time last night that we did way better than the time we played them in Toronto earlier this season. Because Pirtle could do whatever the fuck he wanted when he came to Scotiabank Arena. He was like basically rebounding every rebound he wanted. And if he wanted to shoot, he would make the shots over us. But last night, we swarmed him. We bugged him. We boxed him out. We kept like 2 or 3 guys around him, and he couldn't do anything easily. That was a really good adjustment by Nick Nurse and the coaching staff in getting the team to do that to him, because he could have been a real deciding factor like some of these big guys are when they absolutely dominate us and we can't do anything to stop them. Well, last night we stopped Jakob Poeltl, which was really good to a degree, because in the last game he looked unstoppable against us. So, and then the kid from FSU, Vassell, he did not shoot well either, and that really helped because he was making some bricks and different things like that. They didn't shoot well from 3 at all. They're not a good 3-point shooting team. They only shot 28% from 3. And then their bench guys, I mean, Lonnie Walker was their best bench guy. We beat them in bench scoring last night, guys. That's actually a really good accomplishment by the Raptors, that we actually won a bench scoring match in a game. and stuff like that. And there's, a couple of other guys played off the bench for them. That is really weird seeing Richardson in a Spurs jersey. That's really weird to me. Really, really weird. It's Click saying, I don't see Birch as a long-term fit with this team, unlike Precious. Birch is injury prone and only getting older. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. It may be the kind of thing where we upgrade to an actual center at some point, and they take his spot. Once again, he's Canadian. I want him to be on the team as long as we can. He's been a good dude. It's kind of like he's gotten his ass beat up so much while he's been on the Raptors. It's kind of like I want him to feel good and get good things going also. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. I tend to agree with what you're saying here, Click, that Precious is definitely more long-term in my eyes. But it's also the kind of way I feel sad. I don't like the idea of Kem leaving, partly because he's Canadian. I want as many Canadian players on the team as possible. And Kem is deceivingly young, actually. He seems like he's old, but he's actually not. I think he's just about to be 30 or close to that. He's not the oldest player on the team. Chris Boucher's older than Kem. So it's a weird situation. Hopefully, we'll see how it all pans out. We'll see how things work out with things. Click saying, I hope Malachi is back tomorrow. He's not going to be back. They said 10 days. And so he went off, 4 days ago? So he's going to be gone for another week at least. I don't think he'll be back until after we get back from this West Coast trip. Malachi. It's a hamstring, and they said 10 days since when he's been out. So Malachi's if Click's saying if Malachi can't continue playing like he has, it will be huge help and confidence booster for Fred. You're saying if he can or he can't. We're going to need Malachi. Hope maybe it's just good to have depth and guys that are confident off the bench. They're playing pretty good. And I feel like Malachi's got that right now. Like his confidence is probably way better than it was since he got to start those couple of games that Fred was out. So I think he's going to be fine. I think he'll come back and we'll use him in spot duty here and there. And maybe he'll be much more effective in shorter periods on the court than he has in the past during the season. So. Let's see. Click 2AM saying Delano, Bant, and Murray have the same body type. If Delano adds more weight and muscle and improves his jumper, he could be a stud. Yeah, that's the thing. He's like Chris. He's going to need to fill out some weight. And he knows that. He said that right away, Banton, that I need more muscle. I need to be bigger. You look at what Pascal looked like when he first came to the Raptors as a rookie and how he looks now. If Delano can get on that track of building muscle, like Pascal did over his first couple of years in the Raptors, he'll be all right. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a stud no matter what, even how he is right now. But definitely if you put some strength on him in any kind of way, he will definitely for sure. Raymond Jacobs saying Raptors future looks super good. It really does. It really does. Like in some ways, I'm excited about ending the season and getting through and seeing how we do with our record. And in the playoffs, just getting a taste and seeing how well we can do in the playoffs. Get some victories, win a round or two of the playoffs, and get some good feeling for these young guys, that taste. And then next year, I want us to come back in training camp in the next season and have a whole other level of professionalism and like togetherness, like I've been describing, and come out there and execute like gangbusters and show some more even better dominance. Because like we said in the last week or so, there's no clear-cut top dog in the Eastern Conference right now. And maybe Toronto can do some stuff and try and get up there and be that, even if people don't see it or predict it. If we can come back next year with a clean slate and a new attitude and a way of how we're doing it and we're healthy, look out. Because we could get like a 10-game win streak or something like that and be one of the top Eastern Conference teams. I'd like to be that top dog like we were a couple years ago, sticking it right up around the top and getting Nick Nurse to be the coach of the All-Star game by halfway through the season. Oh, yeah, if that can happen next year, that'd be fantastic. And everybody's going to be saying, oh, it's going to be Brooklyn, it's going to be Philly because they have new players and all this kind of stuff. Miami, well, let's surprise some people like we always do and overachieve and show something they didn't expect from the Toronto Raptors. Oh, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Seymour Pape saying, oh, there's a siren outside. I live in the city. All right, let's see. Let's just let it go by real quick. Big old fire truck. Okay, Seymour Pape saying, what's your thoughts on our seeding? Do you think we can get in that top six? I think we can, but it's really going to be we're going to have to beat some big time teams. I don't know. The April part of our schedule is interesting. There's a mix of top Eastern teams and then also really shitty teams in there too. So it's like I don't know. I really have no idea what the Raptors are going to finish at or where they're going to be. The thing that I only want is them to not go any lower. If they the lowest I think they should go is eighth. And don't if they can get into the top six, that'd be fantastic. And one of the ways it could happen is the Bulls are sliding, the Cavs are sliding, and this is these teams. Who knows where they're going to go and how far they'll slide down over the last part of the season. So I really hope we can get in the top six and not have to play in the play-in. But if we do, we want to make sure we're in 7 or 8 and we have the ability to lose at least once and still be alive because that's the problem with the play-in. You lose one game, and if you're 9 or 10, you're out right away. That's it, and you don't want that because that one game could be you could have one bad game and then you're out, and that sucks. So you want to have at least 2 games, and that would be 7 or 8. So. Click 2 AM saying, I think it's fair to be disappointed in Yuta this year. He's the one on the bench with the most potential on both ends. Hasn't lived up to it. I don't know if that's totally fair to Yuta because of like really Nick really pulled the leash like off of the bench guys and just went so hard on the starters in the middle of the season. And Yuta's had ups and downs with some injuries and stuff like that. I mean, in some ways, I can see your perspective that maybe we should be disappointed in him. In some ways, he has failed at different times, whether it was a bad turnover or just missing too many shots at different times. But also, he's shown really important things. Also, so I'm jury's out on me. I wouldn't say he's a disappointment, but I wouldn't say he's a super success either. I think that he's just been meh. He's been enough, but we could use a lot more from him. Like if he could get out there and just like start scoring like crazy and help us in that way, that'd be fantastic. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens this offseason. Seymour saying it's got to be hard for you to. He plays 5 minutes a game. You can't get a rhythm in 5 minutes. Yeah, see, that's part of what it is right there. Seymour saying it that he's getting such short stints and there's no rhyme or reason when he's getting in. It's not like he has a regular time where he thinks he's going to get in like Delano does or something like that. It's really you to get in there. Oh, I got to get in there all of a sudden. Like he may not play for 2 or 3 games and then he gets in there. It's really erratic and it's tough to do, but that's part of being a pro. And I think that the one thing with him that has been stable and a baseline is his energy. His energy, it doesn't matter. He's going to come in there and you're going to get that from him, at least that all out. So it's hard to say. It's really hard to judge him and do stuff like that with this, just because he really last year he got way more minutes last year and was way more important to our rotation and involved in the rotation in the Tampa year. So in some ways you may think, oh, he's regressed or he hasn't done as much. Well, he hasn't had as much opportunity and a time to show what he can do. So let's see. Click saying this summer is going to be the first in 2 years where Raptors can shift all their focus to development, no distractions with moving and coming back and like Kyle Lowry and different things like that. Yeah, with Tampa. Yeah. There's a reason why he doesn't get minutes, though. It's Yuta. Yeah, there's a reason. He's not as athletic and impressive in some ways as the core guys, but he's still an important kind of player. I like what you're saying about the development thing this summer. It's going to be really good to have everybody in training camp in it'll have a normal feel. We've been back now. It's not like they're coming back and orienting themselves in Toronto again with everything after being away for a year. Summer league may be very different this year. Some people are saying, what the draft pick and stuff? I don't care about the draft pick. Let's really focus on these guys we have already and really develop them more this summer. And then, that's where a lot of the gains come from training camp. So we have guys that are already familiar together. The core's been together for 1 year. Training camp can be built in a more advanced way, and they can build off the basics they were building this year. Because part of the problem with this slide we just had recently is that Nick Nurse has had to start completely over with rebuilding the team and its concepts and how it plays. It had to get right back down to the basics. Whereas a couple of weeks ago, he's saying they were doing the really advanced stuff already because things were rolling. But when things go bad and you're having a hard time just functioning as a basketball team, you have to go back to the basics and start over. So in a way, he had to have a step back recently, but he can maybe hopefully build those advanced steps even more quicker now because there is familiarity and time into it. and the slump was just a slump. And you come into training camp next offseason, and you can build right from the start at a more advanced level on the basics that you taught from the year before. And that's going to be really big gains for our team and the synergy and the playmaking and stuff like that. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. We're right at an hour. I really appreciate y'all joining me this morning for this reaction to this win over the San Antonio Spurs last night. It was really nice to see us play the Spurs and win and not let Coach Popovich get his career record win all time in the NBA season, regular season record. Yeah, it didn't need to be us on that. And I'm glad that we avoided that and stuff like that. So good luck to Pop. I hope he gets in the next game. I hope he can beat the next team and do it right that way. All right, tomorrow, Phoenix. This is a huge game. The best team in the NBA. They just clinched their playoff spot last night. First team in the NBA to clinch a playoff spot. And we got to come out and play them tough and beat them down. Oh, yeah. All right, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, share. If you like anything you saw or heard today on this live stream, please hit that red subscribe button. And I'll be back tomorrow sometime between 8 and 11 a.m. tomorrow morning for the preview, keys to victory, injury report, real mascot matchup, all the good fun stuff. So let's go, Raptors Nation. We are back on the right side of the win column, and we need to keep this going. And I know this can be a tough test, these next two games, but this is what it is. It's a test. We overachieve against really good teams, and who knows what'll happen if we play them really well and we have a close game and we lose, but we look like we really belong with Phoenix like we did the last time we played them. I'll be happy. We just can't look like a dog and get routed like some of these other games we've had recently. We need to be a competent, good team and make it the best possibility for us to try and win one of these games or both of these games in the next two nights. All right, y'all. Let's go, Raptors. Oh, yeah.